Many New Mexicans know Gustavo Arellano as the creator of the formerly syndicated column Ask a Mexican. The California native left his position as editor of the Orange County Weekly last year. That was in protest of layoffs that were ordered by the paper's parent company. You can now see his work, though, in the Los Angeles Times, where he writes a column about people of color as well as the history of Southern California. Earlier this year, he sat down with correspondent Russell Contreras to talk about his evolving work and where he finds his motivation.
Gustavo, thank you for joining us here.
Gracias for having me.
Last year, you resigned as editor of the OC Weekly, an alternative news weekly there in Orange County. You did it because you wanted to take a principled stand and not lay off staff. In doing so, you also lost the column Ask a Mexican, a very popular column. Why was it so important for you to take this principled stand?
They were my colleagues at OC Weekly. They're my brothers and sisters at that point. Some of them I had worked with for 16 years. All of us were forged in the fire that is Orange County. And if there was any way that I could ensure that they could keep their jobs, I was going to do it. And I have to say I succeeded. It's almost 7 months since I quit, and not a single person has been laid off.
You came at a time where alternative news weeklies were at the height of attention. They were holding cities accountable across the country. Since then, we've seen a number of them close, their pages shrink. Do alternative news weeklies still have a place in our civil society?
They absolutely do. The problem is that a lot of the owners, they're completely clueless, and they're not paying attention to the reporters on the ground who have these ideas. And I saw this at the OC Weekly. Long ago, we were urging them, this is how we could sell ads, this is how we could make money, this is how we could have events, but no one listened to us. Here in Albuquerque, I see the Alibi. I still love the Alibi. Every time I come here, I mean, they were the first paper to carry my Ask a Mexican column, but every time I come here, it seems to be thinner and thinner and thinner, and it's unfortunate. I don't know what's the exact situation for the Alibi, but I could see it easily cover a city as great as Albuquerque, absolutely.
Now, when you had the Ask a Mexican column, it generated a lot of responses emotionally, both pro and con. Now you're writing columns for the Los Angeles Times, and there still seems to be this reaction, both pro and con. You post a piece on your social media page, and you'll get a ton of comments. What is about your columns that generates this response?
I'm a nerd. I don't know. Nerds tend to be controversial. I honestly don't know. As a writer, you just write your stories and put them out there. If anything, I would say I'm not doctrinaire, so I might come from the left, but that doesn't mean I'm going to worship everything from the left. And it's great to see the comments, the reactions. Some people call me, a neocon. Some people call me a socialist. Some people call me a fascist. A lot of people like to say a lot of things about me. I don't care what you say about me as long as you read me. And this is what I tell people. If you really want to hurt me, if you really want to hurt my career, don't read me, because every time you're talking about me, every time you're reading me, you're just promoting me. Thank you. Gracias.
In doing so, you've written a lot about Southern California, Orange County, the history of Mexican Americans there, the history of people of color in general. Here in New Mexico, Hispanics are the majority, the largest percentage of folks here, the most majority, most Latino city in the state in the country. But yet we seem to be marginalized in the narrative. Why does that go on? Why the presence is so long and big in the population, but yet the story seems to be marginalized? Why does that occur?
Juan de Oñate, all the way back. I mean, especially in New Mexico, this is the place that was already Latino way before Plymouth Rock, way before Jamestown and all of that. And it's easy because this is the American Southwest. We are still in a Cold War between Mexico and the United States, between Protestant England and Catholic Spain. That's been going on, what, almost 500 years now at this point. So those communities are always going to be marginalized. You also have here people coming in from outside of New Mexico who don't know, the lay of the land, and they, for the most part, they're going to be non-Latino, and they're not going to know the rich contributions that Latinos have offered here. So what I always offer is, that's why it's important for these communities of color, these marginalized communities, to take the narrative for themselves and take those stories. You cannot rely on mainstream media, and you never should have relied on, but now more than ever in a fragmented media landscape, you have to be able to tell your own stories. But that's the thing. If you don't tell your own stories and no one's going to tell it, at that point the fault's yours for being, at least in the media landscape, marginalized. In
your book, Taco USA, How Mexican Food Conquered America, you offer this unique history about Mexican food in moving across the country, but you have written about food and its legacy to culture, and it says something about how we're changing as a country. Why is it important to you to tell stories through food?
Food is the one universal thing that I believe, especially in the United States, we could all get around. You could hate Mexicans all you want, but you're still gonna love the Mexican food, especially here in the American Southwest. And in my book, I talk a lot about sort of that dichotomy. But historically, food has been used to demonize a population. You have all these slurs, and I'm not gonna say on public media right now, but slurs based on food that people use to marginalize, because what you're saying by using those slurs is that you're inhuman. We're calling you by this food because we think your food is garbage, which means you must be garbage. So if you have your quote-unquote enemy eating your food, that's a start. That's a start to a conversation. I also work with the Southern Foodways Alliance, this amazing organization based out of the University of Mississippi that I always tell people they're trying to solve the problem of the South through food, through a place at the table. That's the way I see it. So with food, you can tell all those stories. You could have those conversations. It's a safe space. It's a delicious space, safe space.
A delicious space.
Yeah, absolutely. Delicious space, sure.
You also have a lot of detractors online, and you have since you started writing your column, and when you became editor. Recently, you were a contributing editor of Mezcla, and there was an online backlash, and then you said you weren't going to do it anymore. Why is this? What happens? What is generating this online backlash against your work, against you personally? What is fueling that?
In that case, it was tweets that people accused me of being, let's see, anti-Central American, anti-woman, anti-trans, homophobic, a long laundry list of alleged offenses based off of tweets that I said. And I will always stand by everything I wrote. Some things were taken out of context. If people want to have a conversation with me, go for it. I'll point to you exactly why you're wrong. And the funny thing about all these allegations that people had about me, you had 15 years of counterexamples at the OC Weekly, not just in the stories that I wrote about the communities I'm allegedly against, but also in the hiring practices that I had. But we're in an age where people don't want to listen to facts anymore. That didn't matter. And when it came to this online publication, Remezcla, that I was announced as contributing editor to, I lasted a total of 2 days. It's not that they didn't want me to have that position anymore. They still wanted me to write for them, but at that point, it's like, why am I going to write for someone who's not going to stand by me and believe what people say, even after I've offered examples to the contrary? So it's all good. I'm writing like never before.
So you were totally opposed, and you strongly deny that those anti-trans and anti-gay
Of course.
thing. Did that affect you at all personally?
No, of course not. People who know me know who I am. That's what ultimately matters. My writers, the people who I write for, they know who I am. If anyone has any issue with me, you're more than happy to talk to me. So, and that's the problem. People didn't want to have a conversation. People wanted me just out of that position. Hey, it's all good. It all worked out at the end for both sides.
Yeah, you have been outspoken about student protest on campus, where you've had alt-right speakers, whether they're shutting down the events and shutting down the speakers. You have said there is an alternative to that in engagement. Explain that.
I am an absolutist on free speech. Hate speech is also free speech, and I think everyone has the right to be able to espouse their views, except, fire and theater and all that. But all that said, if you're opposed to someone's point of view, why not have a conversation with them? Or why not challenge them? Instead of screaming at them and shouting them down, I don't see that as anything. Those people are going to find a place to be able to tell their views. On the other hand, if you challenge them directly, then you will be, frankly, you're going to make yourself a smarter person. You're going to critique them. They're going to critique you. You're going to have to critique them back. Are you going to change minds? Probably not, but at least you're going to be able to sharpen yourself, especially when it comes to young minds on campus, on a college level. You go to college to be challenged. I'm a professor now, and I don't coddle my students. No students should be coddled. They should be expected to be challenged all the time. That's going to prepare you for the real world. I'm sorry to say, but adulthood, life, it's not easy. It's not a safe space. It's a place where you're going to be challenged all the time. So you should challenge yourself whenever possible. And if that means you having to engage with people who don't agree with you or people that you find horrid or horrific, go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
Is there a generational divide between our millennials and our Generation X, how we engaged in this fight for free speech? Is there a divide you see there?
It's cyclical. So the millennials are really like the baby boomers. The Generation X, I'm not going to call ourselves the greatest generation, like corollary to the greatest generation.
I'll take that.
Okay, sure. Fine. You take it. But at least we were a generation. If the greatest generation suffered through the Great Depression, Generation X suffered through the decline of or the post-industrial America. They grew up in that. And the baby boomers, those exact same issues that we have right now with millennials, where they want to shut down people expressing the right, controversial speakers. The baby boomers did that as well during the late 1960s, early 1970s. It's cyclical. I'm not someone who's going to say millennials are the most entitled, worst generation ever. They're not. We don't know what that generation is, but they do have a lot in common with the baby boomers, who are just as entitled and just as whiny, at least portrayed in the public imagination. You match both and both together, there's really no difference, except I would say the baby boomers were far more white than the millennials, who are far more diverse.
Recent reports show that Latinos in the newsroom are still around 4 or 5%. We still haven't been making progress in the last 10 years. What is holding us back from diversifying the newsrooms and expanding our numbers as this country becomes more brown?
You need more editors. You need more people who are willing to take chances on me. Take my example. I didn't go to journalism school. I had no experience as a journalist. Instead, what it took was a white editor who saw an angry letter to the editor that I had written to him, to the OC Weekly. He saw something in there that I didn't, and he was able to give me the opportunity to prove myself. Once I became editor, I don't believe in affirmative action just to fill quotas. I believe in stories. If you could tell me great stories that other people can't, then I'm going to hire you. And it so happens that communities of color or disadvantaged communities have a hell of a lot of more stories than people who grew up in, I don't know, in whatever a rich suburb is here in Albuquerque. You could name one, I'm sure. Maybe you won't. But
I don't live there.
Okay, of course not. No, but what I mean is, like, someone who lives a privileged life, they're not going to have many stories. They might think they do. On the other hand, if you have someone who grew up working class, who grew up poor and just struggled their way to the top, they're going to have way more stories. So I think you need editors, and this is what I'm seeing in journalism. Journalism is being professionalized way too much, and it has been for a while. Now, to get a job at almost any major daily, you have to have gotten your master's degree in journalism, and all that's going to teach you is the same type of folks. It's not going to teach you what's actually going on the street or stories that matter to the people. And it just becomes a vicious cycle. Yeah, if 4% of our newsrooms are Latinos, the editors' positions are even tinier than that. It's pathetic.
You are someone in Southern California. That's where you operate, and that's where you write about. But what keeps bringing you back to New Mexico? I mean, you're like here every 2 or 3 months. What brings you back here?
I've been coming here to Albuquerque specifically every year now since 2006. The reason I came here was when I did my Ask a Mexican column. The Alibi was the first paper in the country to have the guts to be able to publish that column. And then it sparked a huge reader backlash, but then a backlash to the backlash. My biggest fan base outside of Southern California was actually Denver, just because it's bigger, but then number 2, New Mexico. And they're cousins. They're total cousins historically. And so every time I come here, I just get a warm reception. Then I started bringing my wife here about a decade ago, and we just loved it. Every summer we spend a couple of days here just relaxing and meeting friends. And this is just Albuquerque. Really, the areas I know in New Mexico would be Albuquerque, Hatch, Santa Fe, then Chimayo, lesser Las Cruces, but I want to explore more.
Well, thanks for joining us, Gustavo.
Gracias.
Appreciate it.